Chris Level here with another edition of Patriot Talk. Right there, the Pats 1-0. We'll get to the result of last week's official opener, here in a little bit. But Coach Joe Sexton with me as always. The weather starting to change just a little bit, so hopefully it stays that way. But you could just tell football season is kind of starting to get closer, and it's nice.
And we're ready for some cooler weather.
Yes, we are. I don't think there's anybody out there that would disagree with that. Let's talk about your week leading up to this first game. You know, obviously last Thursday night, Chapman Field. You know, your team plays Lubbock High. I thought it was kind of fascinating because there's 132 years that separate the opening of Lubbock High and Liberty High School. The oldest high school in Lubbock and the newest high school in Lubbock played each other. It was kind of fascinating.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until I guess you text me that, and
Yep.
that's
Pretty cool. I mean, I thought so too. And my sweet mother-in-law went to Lubbock High, and I did not realize it had been there since 1890 or something. I mean, it's been there a long time, way before there was a Lubbock County. There was Lubbock High School, but. So anyways, it's just kind of an interesting, and it's taken a long time for a new high school to be built. It's been several years, and obviously the Patriots are that. So leading up to game one, I think I talked to you last week, and you kind of said you could just sense a different energy in the building as the game kind of got closer, and there's some different events. We'll get into some of those, but it's just kind of fun to see it build, and then
You know, it's always fun. You know, your first week of school. You know, you get the kids are excited to be back. Some of them more so than others. Football season is there. You know, the cheerleaders are doing their thing. You know, Palm's doing their stuff, and band, and it's just it's a cool time of the year for us to see all the kids doing all their different activities.
And there are lots of those.
There is a lot going on.
So as you wrapped up. You're going to have to help refresh my memory. I think this may have been Tuesday night.
Right.
I think you kind of wrap up, I don't know, camp, fall camp practices, all those things. And it's like, okay, we started on July 31st. We've been at this deal for, 17, 18 practices at that point. And the kid, you get a little watermelon in them. Texas Tech does the same thing. There's like with the annual watermelon feed, it kind of was like this. So I thought this was really cool.
Right. You know, at the end of really pretty much any small school around, you know, that always happens. You know, we always had people bring us watermelon at Lubbock Cooper High School. Okay. So our cheerleaders brought us some watermelon and stayed out there and hung out with us for a little bit. And it's awesome just to get to see, you know, the cheerleaders and the Palm squad, and we're going to see our band debut this week, and just all the students that are coming together to make Liberty something special.
Yeah,
so
from the ground up.
We really appreciate those cheerleaders coming out because it was a hot day, and watermelon was awesome. They had it cut up, chilled. It was everything that, you know, it was already cut up in nice little pieces for us, and so it was great.
And one thing, you know, that I know about Joe Sexton, there's not much more on this earth than he loves than watermelon.
Not much. Not much.
That's right. I mean, that is your jam.
That's a lot of my
diet.
During the summertime for sure. Because it's hot and you don't want to eat anything that's hot.
I get it.
I have special bowls at home that are off limits to anything and everything except watermelon.
Now, when you are enjoying this on your own, is there a certain way you slice it? Do you get it off the rind? Do you cut it like in the deals and just eat it with the rind still on there?
No, I cut it off the rind. There's not one bit of that watermelon wasted in my house.
Do you like grill the rind or something?
No.
Oh, okay. I know people that eat the rind too. It's weird.
Well, the rind goes in the trash, but it is it's peeled.
Are now you a seedless?
Oh yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. I'm not that much of a purist.
You bring on the science. We like the updated,
the GMO stuff's okay with me.
Okay. Now, have you dabbled in like the orange?
I like the orange, yellow. Okay. It's good, but just your good old red seedless watermelon.
Yeah, that's your favorite.
That's where it's at.
But that, yeah, appreciate everybody that was a part of that. I think it was a fun, ending or beginning, or however you want to look at it. Just kind of a nice, because you kind of told the kids, hey man, big surprise. My first thought was, okay, ice cream cones, snow cones. No,
Right.
watermelon trumps that. So that's we're into nutrition over there
Sure.
at Liberty as well. So much better.
Well,
for
we gotta
the kids.
hydrate.
And hydrating as well. Yes. And then Wednesday night, you have kind of first team meeting and team dinner.
Right.
And I was fortunate enough to be included in that, as were every dad of your JV team. And there was, I'll let you kind of go through kind of what your thought was, and we all kind of put this together for each one of the players.
Right. This was kind of just a way to get some family members involved. We've got something in the works for the moms, so we don't want the moms to be left out. Coach Darden does a great job have a clinic for the moms. So we've got a little thing coming up. It's going to be a little bit different, but we thought we'd bring dads up and help put these decals on, and it was really cool to see Chris Level making sure that the stars were lined up right, stripe was on, and it was good.
It's pressure.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was. It was,
I joked with my friend here, my watermelon loving friend, Coach Sexton here, that I was like, man, see, you just wanted us to have this pressure instead of you guys doing this, because I was like, okay, yeah, just make sure. Yeah, I didn't want to screw my kids' helmet up.
that was part of it. Us getting to watch you guys.
Yeah,
do
no
it.
doubt, absolutely.
It's a lot of fun just seeing dads interact with their kids, and some of the dads were like, get out of the way, I'll do this, and then some of the kids were like, Dad, no, that it doesn't look right.
Yeah, I was probably one of those. It was like, yeah, I'll take the pressure here. I don't want you to screw this thing up. I will say, I think you were largely responsible for this. I don't know who else kind of helped you with this. The design that what you guys put up with, I'll just show you. Liberty here. This one doesn't have it, but there's a number of the player, kind of like Alabama,
Right.
does it.
Now, this was our original helmet that we put together when we were kind of debuting the stickers. Coach Tolliver really worked with AU Graphics, and I just couldn't get out of them kind of what I wanted. And then when Coach Tolliver came in, he's worked with that guy before, and they do an incredible job with stickers and decals. So Coach Tolliver got involved and made it what we've got right now, and
That's awesome.
it looks really good. We had a lot of compliments over the last few weeks on how the helmets look, and I thought all of our uniforms looked pretty good. White on white looks pretty good. We're always going to wear white pants, even when we're at home. So we'll have some navy blues out this week.
Okay.
And again, we'll wear our white pants, but I just think it's a clean look.
Yeah, I agree completely. Yeah, you can't probably see it on there, but there's some stars on this center stripe here, right there that you can kind of see. Anyway, that's just some subtle things. But anyway, I know that several of people that I was aware of that were there really appreciated being included. It was a fun deal. And I think you'd mentioned annual tradition.
Right. Yeah, we're going to do that every year.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I don't anticipate the helmets changing much. We might tweak a few things here and there, but I'm very pleased with the way the helmets turned out.
Good stuff. Yeah, and then you kind of talk to the kids and I think dads too about. I think there was a long talk about humility, which I think
Right.
is always good
That's
for
one of our
all
core
us to hear.
values is humility. Kids are probably sick of me talking about it, but it's I think it's a thing in today's society where there's just the people that are humble are probably a thing of the past almost. So I just really want our kids to respect the game and play with a little bit of humility. It's just little things like you score, let's take the ball to the official, then let's go celebrate with our teammates. That's big for me, is just having those kids learn a few life lessons that are going to try to get them on down the road a little bit.
The greatest quarterback of all time, or at least arguably, Tom Brady said it best: say less.
Yeah. Oh, say less.
Yeah, just go win 6 Super Bowls, and then you don't really have to say anything at all. Yeah, you
Right.
just show everybody all your jewelry.
Yeah, I've got a few rings.
Yes, yes. Okay, so this takes us to Thursday night. Obviously, freshman game. There was the JV game at Chapman Field. Been a an LISD field for many years. There couldn't have been. It was completely packed. It was overflowing. People are parking blocks and blocks away. The bus, I think, was even
2 blocks away.
2 blocks away. Got started a little late with the freshman game, so I think the JV game kind of got started late. But let's talk about how your kids played. You pretty, I mean, obviously 54-26 win, so you got the result that you wanted, kind of doubled up the Westerners. But let's go through it.
Well, we were about to leave Lubbock Cooper Middle School, and we get a phone call that said we had a problem with the officials, so might want to wait a little while. So we were dressed, we were ready to roll, and so we had to pull back on the reins just a little bit.
Yeah.
Y'all just relax a little bit. We're gonna hang around here for just a little while. So there were a lot of distractions that day. We had had a whole lot of stuff going on. Then this happened, and kids didn't even faze them. I think the coaches were more freaked out than the kids were. So get on the bus, drive over to Lubbock High, and we get off, and we watch a little bit of a freshman game, get the kids warmed up, and just the way I think they were a little nervous.
Understandably so.
Probably a little nervous playing the very first football game. It's kind of like I think Coach Anderson talked about it too. Her girls were a little nervous starting off playing their first volleyball game, and they came through it. And I think as we eased into it and got hit a little bit, that all went away, and then off we go. I was very, very, very pleased about how our kids played. We had a few things that happened. There's never been a football game where there's no adversity. Something, and that was one of the things we talked about them. That's another one of our core values is being resilient. Is something's going to go wrong. It always does. But how are you going to respond to that? Coach Q is always preaching at them about, what are you going to do? What can you control? And we did, we controlled what we could and came out and cleaned up what we needed to and had a pretty good game.
Yeah, I think I've heard this termed best. Football is a series of setbacks.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's all it is. It's like the rules are, well, you got to get 10 yards. Hey, we got to stop them from getting 10 yards. I mean, it's all it is trying to overcome whatever setback that you're approached with. I thought, Coach Newton, we'll go through this game, but I want to get to the end of the game too, because I thought it was really cool. But Coach Newton, it said like offensively, one of the things that he kind of came away with, hey man, we got to clean up some turnovers, clean up the penalties. Those are things that we can control. Right. However, he really was pleased with how well the offensive line established the line of scrimmage, and same point, how well, because the running game was really good. I don't know statistically how many rushing yards you ended up with, but you had really receivers blocking downfield. Right. Also was a big part of that.
Well, you're not ever going to have a great running game without those guys out there blocking. One of our first big runs, I think Levi Walker had a great block on the edge and kind of sprung one of our kids. And without them, you're not going to break the big runs. Yeah. So that's part of that unselfish thing that we like to talk about is, they all want to catch the ball, but you got to do those things in order to get to catch the ball. So, we're going to, praise those little bitty things that sometimes people may not notice from the stands. That's the first thing that I heard is somebody screaming, one of our coaches hollering, about what a great block that was. So, everybody's got to buy into it, and you're right. The offensive line, that's what stood out to me over the whole game is just how well they handled, Lubbock High up front. They were probably a little bit bigger than us, in a few spots, and really that was one of the things coming in. We didn't know how good our offensive line was going to be. It was a situation where we knew we were going to have some pretty good skill kids, but wasn't real sure about our offensive linemen, and then we had to convert a couple of our linemen, Barrett Shigerick and Jackson Payne. Asked them if they wouldn't mind going and playing some offensive line.
And they did great.
Oh my gosh!
Jackson Payne, actually middle linebacker too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
came off the field.
Barrett, he played both ways quite a bit, and those two can't say enough about their leadership, how they've accepted, this role. When you're an offensive lineman, you don't get a lot of glory, and
but it's a trenches game.
Yeah,
it just is.
You're not going to go anywhere without those guys.
Yeah, and you're contrary. I mean, the defensive line too. I mean, it's just it's a big boy game more often than not. I thought we had talked about Colin Chadwick on the show last week, and I wanted to mention too that I think you had two other really good kids that just ran really hard, and Lane Miller and Talon Wilcox. I thought they were very impressive to see.
I agree.
Speed and aggressiveness, which they kind of ran the ball with.
Well, Talon, I saw him play, quite a bit last year when I'd go watch.
You saw all these
Bush.
kids last year, yeah, both, yeah.
And he really stood out as a difference maker.
Mm-hmm.
Lane Miller also, he was watched him play too, and just knew that. They were going to be really good kids to have around. Everybody in our running back position had a great game. Colin had an early fumble, which is a little bit of adversity, then came back in the second part of the game and was running hard and actually scored a touchdown at the end. So was really happy to see him, have a setback at the beginning and then come back and have some success at the end.
And Colton Bouchard and Grayson Cleveland both got, a lot of reps at quarterback. Right. I thought they both did well. Harrison Vitz, I think, with a big interception. So Jackson Gonzalez, I think, with a couple of touchdown catches.
Yeah, and Jackson Thomas had a big game. Jackson Thomas,
2-point conversion return, I think is what that was. Yeah, down on y'all's sideline. And Jackson Gonzalez with just the kicker part of it, I thought was impressive because I don't know if Jackson ever came off the field.
There's several of them that didn't get a whole lot of breaks.
Yeah, that's right. But that's what you're
doing
all
we wanted.
Right now. That's right. Okay, so let's end of the game. It's emotional for you. I think it was great to watch you be so excited. Take me through kind of what was going through your mind because you told those kids I'm extremely proud of you.
Oh yeah, you're numb right there. I was just I'm sure I had the biggest smile on my face that it was it's been a long time, since July 31st like you were talking about, and then just seeing all the improvement from the very first skill day that we had during the summer and till now, and to see how everything came together and see the offense and the defense play as well as they did. It was like, wow, you can. It was just a great feeling, And sometimes I don't talk a whole lot, but I felt like I was talking a whole lot that night, and I try not to say a whole lot, but I think the kids realized how excited I was and proud of them. And
you were kind of speechless after the game.
Yeah,
but that's what.
It really didn't hit me till the next morning.
I get it. Yeah.
Saturday morning, I woke up and I'm like, "Wow, here we go."
Yeah, that's right. And you let Coach Newton and Coach Tolliver say something there. There's the offensive and defensive coordinators for you. We've talked about both of them throughout the show, but I appreciated their buy-in and emotion and pouring into these kids.
Oh, yeah.
You did really well in choosing the people that you've chosen to coach with you. And Coach Newton just emptied his bucket right there after that game was over. And I told him, I was like, man, I really respect that because you could just tell it means a lot to him.
Well, when you have, you're playing an emotional game like football, it's good to see, your coaches. Good for the kids to see the coaches, have some emotion. Coach Tolliver is not lacking on emotion.
No, he is. You're going to get all he's got on a game day. I promise you that.
Every bit of it. And that's what I told his wife after the game. I was walking across the field, and I saw Coach Tolliver's wife, and she was smiling ear to ear, and I said, you know what? He hadn't lost any fire from the first time I worked with him, and he's got tons of it. The kids love it, and you don't ever have to wonder what he's thinking.
No, I
at
mean,
all.
no, that's,
And that's why we wanted those two guys, because they're gonna, just like you said, they're gonna pour everything into the kids. And
yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, it was really fun to watch, and emotional and all that stuff. And it was the first step. I
Right.
mean, this was a concept and a theory and an idea months and months and months ago, but then all of a sudden it's like, okay,
Here we go.
we got helmets on players, they're scoring, they're tackling, they're blocking, and we're talking about a 1-0 start. So this week right now, it's home game. Be played at Pirate Stadium for people that are watching this. 5 o'clock kick on Thursday against the Randall JV team, and we will actually be broadcasting this game not only on YouTube, but we will have Branson Nash, Taylor McMacken, and Paul Enlow on the mic. So if you can't be at this game or want to watch a replay of it or whatever, we will provide commentating for that. So I appreciate you kind of helping with those guys, getting them caught up to your roster and everything like that. But that's something we felt like was important to do. We'll do that again in a couple of weeks whenever Abilene Cooper is in town as well. But video board, my man Colton Coons and his crew give you full camera angles and all that stuff. So looking forward to that. But another big one this week.
Well, we broke the kids in on that, last week, and just told them on Fridays, like, this football game is going to be a little bit different than some of the other ones that we've been in. You're going to have cameras on the sidelines. You're going to have, commentators. You're going to have, I'm anticipating a pretty good crowd, coming to watch these kids play. A lot of the people in the community that I know that have said, hey, we're coming, we're bringing our kids. And so this 5 o'clock is going to be a little warm, but I think this week's not going to be as bad as, I think it starts to warm up just a little bit more.
Yeah,
but
we'll
it'll be a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
Told the kids a little bit what to expect, and again, they were unfazed.
Yeah. And your freshmen will be in post on the same night.
Yeah, freshmen go down to play post.
The Lopes, yep, that's right. But the Randall Raiders will be up here at Pirate Stadium and all that. And at some point soon, you'll get your own park to play in and all that. We'll break the debut on that next season. Okay, so before we let Coach Sexton go, we'll play 3 things with him. Okay, I need 3 things that Joe Sexton wishes he was better at.
Well, I'm going to say
and it could be professional, personal.
the first thing is,
and don't say golf, because you're really good at golf.
well, that's day to day. I guess the first thing I would say is just giving compliments. I'm not very good at,
Handing out roses?
handing out roses.
Okay.
I've got to get better at that. Taking this job, I knew that I would have to improve myself in several areas. So I would say the first one is just kind of just.
Now, the flip side of that is sometimes, people can be guilty of handing them out too much. And so
Well, I've never been accused of that.
But it loses its luster. And so
I see Colton laughing at me over there.
behind the camera over here, our producer. Yes. Okay. So handing out compliments or praising a good job. Okay. That's
Right.
one.
I'm a terrible gift buyer, too.
Most men are. For being honest.
I'm-
Most men are. Not
Right.
all, but yeah, most.
And I guess the third thing is public speaking. I wish I was a better public speaker. I've asked you for years now, make me a better speaker.
I think you do a really good job.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you are like I don't like speaking in public. I think some people may be surprised to hear that. But if I'm in my element talking about my subject, which you are more often than not,
Right.
You're talking to your people, like in this situation right here. You're really good. I think you're very transparent. You're honest.
I try, but there's those little catchwords that
I know,
we
we
all
all have them.
use,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's just a way. I've tried to think about it, and it just won't go away. I can hear myself saying those words, and I'm aware of it. I just can't stop it.
Yeah, you need to get to where my sweet father-in-law did this to me many, many years ago. There was a word that I used to say all the time, and we'd be sitting there at dinner, and he'd just write it down every time. And so then I was like, oh man, this is bad.
Well, there's one thing that I've doing interviews, you hear the same stuff. It doesn't matter which football coach that you
Coach
listen
speak.
to.
Yeah.
We're going to play defense. We're going to run the ball. It's what you got to do. And so I'm going to try to stay away from that
Coach
as much
speak.
as possible.
Okay. All right. I'll try to get you out of that and throw you some curveballs. Okay. Last three things question. 3 favorite, because I know this is your jam. I've been with you on road trips before. I've been with you other places. You're a big fan of watermelon, like we talked about, but you're also a big fan of ice cream.
Oh, yes.
3 favorite ice cream flavors.
Oh, you got to go banana pudding by Bluebell.
Okay.
If you've never
With like
tried
the hunks of vanilla wafer in there, or vanilla wafer in there.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
banana pudding. I mean, I'm a
Okay.
recovering ice cream aholic. My brother and I both have that flaw in our system. Our dad was a big ice cream guy.
Did I see him give you the game ball?
Yes.
Awesome.
That was another one of those emotional moments, because I've always wanted to work with him, and
Man, yeah,
finally got it.
absolutely.
And so just having him around has been a big help. He's been a coach for a long, long time, and really good. So Bluebell banana pudding, pralines and cream,
Okay.
Brahms.
I knew I'd get some off the radar stuff. Okay.
Yeah, pralines and cream's a good one, and then I guess my favorite one at Baskin Robbins is the gold medal ribbon. It's like half vanilla, half chocolate.
Like a swirl.
Yeah, and then you put a little caramel on top of it.
Okay.
And you're cooking.
Rolling. See, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
You went. I like that. You like all your ice cream places equally. You went Baskin Robbins, Brahms, and
I am an equal opportunity
some Bluebell.
ice cream person.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Well, again, this Thursday night, 5:00 kick, Pirate Stadium. We will have it on the LCISD YouTube channel, commentating, camera angles, and all these different things. Full go. Appreciate Coach Sexton spending some time with me. Good luck. 2-0 start would be a lot of fun for everybody involved. But anyway, we appreciate you watching these. And again, if you want to help sponsor these podcasts, things like that, we'd love to visit with you about it. But go Patriots. And for Coach Sexton, for my man Colton Coons behind the camera, this has been Chris Level with another edition of Patriot Talk.